Always great to have you here. You know, you move a lot. I mean, we were just talking. I mean, you just listed off about 20 cities that you're in. You're going to Russia, Italy, Rome, America. You know, tell me about your schedule. You're a busy guy.
Well, from the very beginning, my theory is I'll always go where I'm being invited. So if you stop inviting me, it's time for me to do something else. But I think this is a time in history where people are really wanting to know how to do it. So we're seeing great changes in the measurements that we've done, brain scans, HRV measurements, epigenetic changes, immune regulation, telomere lengths. We're seeing great changes in the biology of people's brains and bodies. And the evidence shows us that it's actually possible to do it. And at the same time, we're seeing a lot of great testimony, people telling their stories of healing from leukemia or stage 4 cancer, tumors disappearing, or Parkinson's disease going into remission. We're seeing the evidence in testimony. And I think evidence is the loudest voice right now. And so I think many people are interested in understanding how to do it. So my schedule has gotten super busy because people want to know how. And so we're just responding to people's needs. And just culturally speaking, whether we're in Moscow or whether we're in Rome or whether we're in Mexico City or the United States or London, we just move around a lot because we do these events that teach people how to do it.
You know, when I turn on the news, I see a bunch of people fighting with each other, and I see Brexit here in the UK, knife crime up. I look in the US and there's the election cycle, there's shootings. And yet on the other side, there's more people than ever are feeling your message and thinking, wait a second, we can empower ourselves. How do you sort those two out in your head?
Yeah, I think that when you start seeing this kind of global chaos that's going on, chaos to me is unpredictable order. There's a novelty in chaos because the newness of information that's being created takes us out of the familiar and out of the known. And that's a good sign because the side effect of that is the current systems begin to break down. And so, yes, there is this kind of disorderliness that's taking place globally, whether it's the environment, whether it's politics, whether it's economics, whether it's religion, education, journalism, the medical model. It's all kind of coming apart. And there has to be something new that has to replace it. So as certain things begin to break down, we have to make a choice to how to create order out of that disorder. And we can't respond to those conditions with anger. We can't respond to those conditions with hatred or fear, because that's the very consciousness that's driving it in the first place. So we're seeing this kind of extreme reality where there's a polarization between both worlds. And I think it's healthy. And so the optimism that I have is that if you teach people then how to be able to become more self-dependent and teach them that they have the resources to heal their body or to create opportunities in their lives, they can begin to take the energy of that disorderliness, and by creating more coherence and brain coherence and heart coherence in the midst of when everything else is collapsing, I think then you'll begin to see changes that people will begin to execute and create something greater. So I'm hopeful that everything that we're doing, in the world is giving people the tools. It's giving them tools to begin to apply to their lives. So the only way that change is going to take place is if you see the evidence of the collapse right in front of you. I think the challenge is that people have to wake up. And the question is, how uncomfortable do you have to become before you make up your mind to change something? And I'm not just talking about individuals. I'm talking about the living organism of the species of human beings. And so with information comes knowledge. And when you learn new information, you become aware of what you were unaware of. And awareness is consciousness, and consciousness is commingled with a change in energy. So there's this kind of energetic change going on in the planet, and we have to learn how to use that energy and to harness it and reorganize it. In fact, I believe that that energy is endorsing who you're being. So then, whatever your belief is, whether you're believing it's the end of the Mayan calendar and the beginning of a new house, or there's some changes going on in the solar flares, or whatever your belief is, that energy that's taking place right now can be used to endorse if you're fearful, you're going to experience more fear or more anxiety. If you're using that energy and learning how to create order out of it, it's going to endorse some greater outcome for you, whether it's health or wealth or whatever you're after in your life. So the polarity or the extremity that's being created, I think, is necessary for something greater to happen. And as I've said in the past, you don't try to fix this. We just figure out a way to create something better. And when you create something better, everybody leaves this and naturally goes here. It's just antiquated. So we got to get really sharp and see through the illusion of what's taking place. And I just don't want to wait till it gets so uncomfortable that it's too late to begin to act. And that's kind of what drives me more than anything else.